Students, today we are going to discuss about the meaning of bookkeeping, accounting and accountancy. Now you are going to study Unit 2, that is Chapter 2 in your textbook. So the first term is bookkeeping. As a student of accountancy, you should know the meaning of bookkeeping. What is bookkeeping? Bookkeeping is the first stage or primary stage. It is a primary stage. So, this is the stage in which transactions are classified and recorded. So, here the important two functions are, one is classifying and another one is recording. That is recording transactions in the books of accounts. So there are two functions in bookkeeping. The first one is classifying the transactions and recording the transactions. Now, this is the starting point, or this is the point in which accountancy starts. Now, we move on to the next term, accounting. Accounting is the second stage in accountancy, and the last stage is accountancy, which lay down principles, procedures, concepts and conventions. So this is the simple meaning of bookkeeping, accounting and accountancy. Now we are going to discuss this topic in detail. So here in your book, two definitions are given. First definition is given by the eminent author J.R. Batley-Boy. Then the next definition is given by R.N. Carter. So both of them claim they are explaining in a very simple language. That is, the term bookkeeping refers to art of recording business transactions in a set of books. So we have to follow certain rules and regulations to record these transactions in books of accounts, and particularly Mr. R.N. Carter explained about the money, how the money is important while recording the business transaction. Just we are recording only transactions involving transfer of money and money's worth. Now we move on to features of bookkeeping. What all are the features? Features of bookkeeping. The first feature of bookkeeping is it is the process of recording transactions. So this is the first and the foremost process. So it tells about the process or the method in which transactions are to be recorded. Process of recording. This is the first feature. And the second feature of bookkeeping is, here we are recording only monetary transactions. Monetary transactions. Then the third one is, it is the primary stage. This is the third feature. This is the primary stage or the first stage. And the last one is about the function. What all are the functions carried out in bookkeeping? That is journalizing and preparing ledger. Journalizing transactions and preparing ledger. So these all are the features of bookkeeping. Now we move on to the objectives of bookkeeping. What all are the objectives? Generally, the objective clearly states the reason for which this topic is innovated, or this kind of function is innovated. The first and the foremost objective of accounting is recording business transactions in chronological order. What do you mean by chronological? According to date. So transactions are recorded on the basis of dates. See, the transactions which took place in 1st January recorded at first, then 2nd January recorded on the 2nd. So according to date wise transactions are recorded. So it is called chronological order. Then the first and the foremost objective to be stated is ascertaining profit or loss. So this is the reason for which generally books are kept. A businessman wants to know whether he is earning profit or not. So this is the second objective. Then the third one is ascertaining financial position. Every businessman who runs the business wants to know his financial positions. இதை தமிழில் வந்து நிதி நிலைன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. ஒரு வியாபாரம் நடத்துகிறவருக்கு தன்னுடைய நிதி நிலை என்னன்னு தெரியணும். அப்போ அந்த நிதி நிலையில் என்ன பேசுகிறாங்கன்னா, see the financial position clearly tells whether the businessman is ready to pay his debts at any date. எந்த தேதியில் வேணாலும் பிஸ்னஸ் முடிச்சா தன்னுடைய கடன்களை கொடுப்பதற்கு அவர் ரெடியாக இருக்கணும். அப்படி இருந்தாருன்னா அவர் நல்ல நிதி நிலையில் இருக்கிறாருன்னு அர்த்தம். Then the next objective is progress of business. So by recording business transactions, you may easily ascertain the progress, whether the business is improving or the business is getting down day by day. Then the fifth objective is calculation or satisfying the tax liabilities. So one of the main objective of keeping books of accounts is to satisfy the legal requirements, that and also particularly the tax authorities, to satisfy tax authorities. So these all are about the objectives of bookkeeping. Now we move on to the advantages of bookkeeping. See, generally in all topics and in all subjects, objectives and advantages are one and the same. When the objectives are achieved, then it will become advantage. Okay, so what all are the points stated in objective will be repeated in advantage. That means all objectives are attained, all objectives are reached, so the advantage is automatically derived. So the first and the foremost objective or the advantage of is whenever you keep books of accounts, it becomes permanent record. This is the first advantage. So you are keeping a permanent record. Then the second advantage is it gives you important financial information. By way of keeping books of accounts only, you can get financial information and it becomes legal evidence. So the books of accounts kept by accountant will be presented in the court of law to prove a transaction took place, or you can prove your genuineness in the court of law by way of showing the books of accounts. Then comparison of financial information. So this is the most important thing. After some time, after running your business 4 or 5 years, you have to compare your business with others' business. Not only that, you have to compare your business with the previous years. So for comparison purpose, these records are most helpful. Then the last advantage is by way of keeping books of accounts, you are getting one advantage, that is legal advantage. You are satisfying the provisions of tax laws. So you are paying your taxes accurately. Students, the next topic is limitations. Limitations of bookkeeping. There are 3 limitations. The first limitation speaks about the recording. We are recording only monetary transactions, that is quantity wise information is recorded, but quality wise information not recorded in bookkeeping. This is the first limitation. Then the next one is, while recording business transactions, we are not giving importance to price level changes. There may be price level changes in the economic situation, but we are not giving importance to price level changes. Then the third important limitation is about the period for which the recording is done. Generally, accounts are recorded for past. Only we are recording transactions in historical nature. See, what have been done is recorded. We are not bothered about the future. Only decisions are taken on the basis of previous data for future. But recording is done only for past information or past transactions. Okay, now we are going to compare bookkeeping and accounting. Bookkeeping and accounting. Just we are going to compare this bookkeeping and accounting. First difference is about the scope. Generally, the term bookkeeping scope refers to just classifying and recording of business transactions in set of books, whereas the term accounting refers to analyzing and interpreting. Analyzing and interpreting. இப்போ இதில் என்ன சொல்கிறாங்கன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, இதனுடைய எல்லை என்ன ஒர்க் பண்ணுறாங்கன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, புக் கீப்பிங்கை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் டிரான்சாக்ஷன்ஸை கிளாஸிஃபை பண்ணி ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணுறாங்க. வேறஸ் அக்கௌண்டிங்கில் என்ன பண்ணுறாங்கன்னா, பகுத்தாயிராங்க. ஏற்கனவே எழுதப்பட்ட அந்த அக்கௌண்ட்ஸை வந்து பிரித்து பார்க்குறாங்க. பகுத்தாய்ந்து தங்களுடைய கருத்துக்களை வந்து சொல்ல முடியாது. இன்டர்பிரட்டிங் த வியூஸ். நவ் த செகண்ட் பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் டிஃபரன்ஸ் இஸ் ஸ்டேஜ். This is first and the second one is stage. This is primary stage and accounting is second stage. That is, in bookkeeping just we are classifying and recording. These records are taken into account for analyzing and interpreting the data. So this is the first step or first stage, and accounting is the second stage or second step. Then nature, the job nature of job. Third difference is about nature of job. This is mostly routine, stereotyped work. It is routine and mostly based on clerical. So generally the bookkeepers are doing only clerical job, not more than that. Whereas here the nature of job is analytical in nature. So in the job nature என்னன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, just clerical work, routine work. திரும்ப திரும்ப ஒரே வேலையை தான் செய்யணும். அதுக்கப்புறம் அவங்க அதை பற்றி கவலைப்பட வேண்டியதில்லை. ஆனால் இந்த அக்கௌண்டிங்கிறது என்னன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, ஜென்ரலி அனலைஸ் பண்ணுறது இட்ஸ் எ வாஸ்ட் ஏரியா. ஸோ அனலைஸ் பண்ணி பார்க்குறது, நம்ம சொல்கிறோம் இல்லையா, பிரித்து மேஞ்சிட்டாங்கன்னு, அந்த மாதிரி அனலைஸ் பண்ணுறது அக்கௌண்டிங். தென் ஃபோர்த் டிஃபரன்ஸ், நாலேஜ் ரிக்வயர்ட். See here, just basic knowledge is enough. To record business transaction, you are required only basic knowledge. Basic knowledge about basic knowledge about journal and ledger. So the clerk should know the basic knowledge about journal and ledger as a bookkeeper. While in the case of accounting, the person needs knowledge about accounting principles, procedures, concepts, and convention. So here advanced knowledge is required. See here the skill required are: one is analyzing, interpreting the analyzing statement, then procedure, principle. All these things are to be done at this stage in accounting. Then the fourth difference or the fifth difference is skill required. Skill required. Say in the case of bookkeeping, just basic knowledge is enough. You need not get analytical knowledge. But in the case of accounting, the person must have analytical knowledge. So because this work is purely based on analyzing the work already done in bookkeeping. So here you need not get analytical knowledge here, but the main source or the main knowledge the person should possess is analyzing the data or analyzing the record already made. So these all are the comparison between bookkeeping and accounting. Okay. Now we are going to compare three knowledges in accountancy. That is three steps. We can say these are the steps in accountancy. One stage leads to another stage. The first stage is bookkeeping. Second stage is accounting. Then the third stage is accountancy. The first stage is bookkeeping. Second stage is accounting. And the third stage is accountancy. As we already said, the term bookkeeping refers to just classifying and recording of business transactions, whereas accounting requires analytical knowledge. That is, here the analytical work is done, analyzing and interpreting. Actually, bookkeeping is a part of accounting. You cannot separate all these things. One leads to, the first step leads to another step. Then the second step leads to next step. So all these things are like a chain. One is linked with another. And in accountancy, generally principles are laid down. Principles, procedures. What all are the procedures to be followed in accounting? And not only that, here accountants universally recommended certain concepts and conventions. Concepts and conventions. See here, the term concept refers to standard principles. Standard principles are innovated with the help of past experience. With the help of past experience, certain principles are laid down. All those laid down principles are concepts. Then what about conventions? Conventions is nothing but customary behavior. The term convention refers to customary behavior. காலகாலமா நாங்க இதான்ப்பா ஃபாலோ பண்ணணும்னு சொல்றாங்க இல்லையா, அதுக்கு தான் என்னன்னு பேரு கஸ்டமரி பிஹேவியர். Now the next topic is concepts and conventions. Now we are going to learn what all are the concepts followed in accountancy. The first concept stated that we are following business entity concept. The first concept is business entity concept. Okay. What is this business entity concept? It clearly said when a owner started his business, say Mr. A started a business called A Provisional Store. He started and he named the business as A Provisional Store. Now Mr. A is entirely different from the shop he started. In the eye of law, the provisional store is a separate organization and Mr. A is a separate person. If any person bought anything from this provisional store and he find any defective items and he want to sue the store which sold items to him, then he can file a case only against the store and not against Mr. A. So in the eye of law, the business is entirely different from the persons who started the business. Generally, this principle is applicable only to companies in India. Companies are considered as legal persons. Companies got legal personality. So this is called business entity concept. Now the second concept speaks about money measurement concept. See, in bookkeeping or in the whole sphere of accountancy, we are expressing everything only in money value. We are expressing everything in quantity form, not in quality form. So whatever it may be the transaction, it should be written only in monetary terms. We need not consider the quality it possesses. Then the third concept speaks about going concern concept. Whenever a person started a business, first he must have confidence that his business will run for a long time. He is not going to start the business to close it after 3 months or 5 months. The person who started the business must have confidence that he will run the business for a long time. So this is known as going concern concept. ஸோ ஒரு ஆள் ஒரு தொழில் ஆரம்பிக்கிறேன்னா ஆரம்பிக்கிற ஆளுக்கு ஒரு நம்பிக்கை இருக்கணும், நம்ம ரொம்ப நாள் தொழில் பண்ண போகிறோம். ஸோ பொதுவாக இந்த கன்சர்ன் இந்த ஆர்கனைசேஷன் எல்லாமே ரொம்ப நாளைக்கு நடக்கணுன்ற எண்ணத்தில் தொடங்கப்பட்டது தான். ஸோ இதுதான் கோயிங் கன்சர்ன் கான்செப்ட்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. அடுத்தது காஸ்ட் கான்செப்ட். ஸோ ஹியர் the cost concept speaks about how assets are recorded or how the value of stock is maintained. Generally, you have to take into account the historical cost system while recording bookkeeping. That is, the cost for which the asset is purchased should be taken into account. You should not take into account the market value of asset. It may increase or it may decrease. You need not bother about the market value. Just you have to follow only the cost at which you have purchased the assets. Then dual aspect concept. This is very, very important concept. Dual aspect. What is dual aspect? For every transaction, there are two aspects. In accountancy, we call it as debit and credit. Debit aspect and credit aspect. These two aspects are to be recorded. Both aspects should be written in the books of accounts. So it is called dual aspect concept. For example, Mr. A gives money to B. Mr. A gives money to B. Mr. A is a debtor, so he gives money to his creditor. Now, as far as B is concerned, cash comes into business. So first he will record the cash comes in. Then he will record who gave this cash. Mr. A gave this cash. So both aspects are recorded. So it is called a dual aspect concept. Now the next concept is periodicity concept. This concept clearly speaks about the period up to which accounts are maintained. Generally in accountancy we are following 12 months period for closing books of accounts, that is per annum. Each and every organization closes their accounts on 31st December or on 31st March. So the 1 year period runs between 1st April to 31st March or 1st January to 31st December. So see, year by year the organization should not change its period of preparing accounts. They have to follow the same period as the periodicity. Then the next concept speaks about matching concept. See, the concept is matching concept. This principle speaks about matching of income and expense. Matching of income and expense for a particular period. Suppose you are going to prepare a profit and loss account. Profit and loss account for the year 2020. Now you have to compare income with expenses from 1/1/2020 to 31st December 2020. So all those incomes earned between 1st January to 31st December should be taken into account. In the same manner, what all are the expenses incurred to run this business should be taken into account. So that period income should be matched with that particular period expenses. So it is called matching concept of income. Then next concept, realization concept. Suppose the businessman interested in selling an asset, say land and building. Now he is giving this selling, that is disposing the asset, this transaction to a broker, and the broker is initially telling some price. Say after knowing the price, he should not record the amount which he will receive in future. He should write the actual amount received only when the asset is disposed. So this principle or this concept is called realization concept. That is, everything should be written in the books of accounts only when it is realized. Then the next concept speaks about objective evidence concept. Objective evidence concept. See, generally, transactions are recorded in the books of accounts only on the basis of evidence. In accounting language, we call all this evidence as vouchers. So, generally, vouchers are giving vital information to record books of accounts. Already we discussed about this voucher in the first topic. Generally, invoice, cash bill, and any supporting document which prove or which act as evidence is considered as voucher. So, if you are recording an amount in the books of accounts, it should be supported by a document. This is speaks in this type of action is spoken in objective evidence concept. It clearly tells you whenever you are going to write something, you should have some evidence. Without evidence, you should not write anything in the books of accounts. Then, accrual concept. The term accrual concept refers to whenever you are recording a transaction, you should take some accrued amount, that is income earned but not received. It should be taken into account because that particular income belongs to that particular period. So it should be recorded only in that period. For example, interest earned between 1st January to 31st December only recorded in this period. It should not be carried over to next period even though it is not received. Sometimes the interest, the second part of interest or the next half yearly interest may be received only in January 2021 or February 2021, but you should record the second half year interest in this period. So it is called accrual basis. You have to follow this concept, accrual concept. Then convention of consistency. There should be consistency while recording business transactions in the books of accounts. You should not change your consistency again and again. Suppose you are following the written down value method of depreciation, then you have to follow only written down value method. 1 year you are following written down value method. Then the next year you are following straight line method of providing depreciation. See, you should not change your mind as you like. That is a prescribed concept. The prescribed concept is convention of consistency. There should be consistency. You have to follow the same procedure while writing books of accounts. Then convention of full disclosure. See, actually this concept is applicable to companies. Companies are publishing their final accounts to shareholders. While publishing the balance sheet or P, that is final statements, the directors should disclose full material facts to the shareholders. He should not conceal any important statements or decisions from the shareholders. They should disclose each and everything important to a shareholder. Then the next convention is convention of materiality. See, actually this convention is contradiction to a convention of full disclosure. See, in full disclosure it is clearly that says that directors should disclose what all are the facts they know to the shareholders. But here they are stating that you give material information to the shareholder, what they want to know. You need not confuse them by way of giving irrelevant material to the shareholder. Just you give enough information to shareholders. Don't confuse them. So this is about convention of materiality. Then convention of conservatism or prudence. See here, conservatism means following the old practice. See, generally whenever you are recording any transaction, you have to take into account the expected loss, but you should not take into account expected profit. This is the simple meaning of convention of conservation or prudence. Now we are going to discuss about the accounting standards. Actually, the subject of accountancy is a universal subject. See, generally, principles followed in various countries are one and the same. We are following this double entry system of bookkeeping in all over the world. So, eminent accountants prescribed so many accounting standards to be followed in each and every country. In India, Institute of Chartered Accountants prescribes the standard to be followed in Indian companies. So generally we are following the procedures or policies laid down by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So it gives the accounting standard, how the account books are maintained, how you should maintain your books of accounts, and what all are the policies you should adopt while keeping these books of accounts. So this is about accounting standards. Generally there are two types of accounting standard. One is international accounting standard and the next one is national accounting standard. So generally there will not be any contradiction between international accounting standard and standards prescribed for a particular nation. Generally national standards are derived only from international accounting standard. So this is the end of lesson. Just you go through the second unit. If you have any doubt, you ask me in the class.